Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network, and just more of the same from the Knicks as they storm, and there's no other word to use, surge into the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. So, for all the long-suffering Knicks fans out there, and we heard from all of you forever, and we understand how long and painstaking it has been. So, take a minute. Take a day. Hey, take a week. You got a week. The NBA Finals don't begin until Wednesday, June 3rd, and they'll begin on the road. Um, and just enjoy that the Knicks will be playing in the NBA Finals. We'll have a chance to win an NBA championship. And dismiss all the other stuff, okay? Because what you're going to start to hear now is the detractors are going to come out to try and knock what the Knicks have done, which is silly because what the Knicks has done has been ultra impressive, has been completely dominant. Has it been against the top competition in the NBA? No. No one's trying to say it has. The Knicks haven't said that. The Knicks have handled, I think, this dominant run very, very well. They know what's at the other side. They know what's awaiting them, whether it's the generational player who is just coming into his own if they find a way to win the series. And they will have to grow up in the last 3 games of this series as a young because they're a very young team, the Spurs. They will have to grow up to win the series. Even with the injuries that OKC has, I think they'll win the series. I think they'll I think it will go 7 games because I think Embiid will come up with another big effort in game 6, and he's a handful to say the least. Okay, would the Knicks rather play the Spurs? Yes, they'd rather play the Spurs. But again, neither would be easy. The Spurs are good and getting better by the day. They are very young. They are not complete as a team. They have some holes. They are not the polished machine that OKC is, but OKC is hurting. Now, again, we have so much time that I won't spend this evening in any way on analyzing. First of all, I don't know the opponent, although I think it'll be OKC. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I'll have days to analyze what will be a fascinating series to analyze because I don't care what you think of the Knicks. I don't care what you think of the Eastern competition. What the Knicks have done has been incredibly impressive. And if you don't think that a team that is playing incredibly dominant basketball, incredibly unselfish basketball, playing with a startling efficiency on both ends of the floor, playing with fire, playing with intensity, following the game plan, doing everything they could possibly do, getting support from all kinds of places, including the bench where Shaman wants to join the lore of the Nick bench of the 69-70. He wants to be an honorary Minuteman, if you've ever heard the term, and I'm sure some of you have, okay, from the great Nick Bench of the first championship team. They had wondrous players come off the bench and be amazing contributors, and Shaman has been that. He's been unbelievable. He's been almost scary good. And to see the bench do what it did tonight, I mean, I told you before the series began, that Cleveland had talent, which they clearly did. That Cleveland presented a little bit of a size issue, which they clearly did. But that Cleveland was perplexingly lackadaisical. And that ran through. First of all, I detest Harden. I have my whole life. So anyone who knows me knows that's the case. I don't want him anywhere near any of my teams ever, and you saw it again here. He is a virus on any good team. And I've known the head coach for a very, very long time. I like him a lot, but he's gonna get fired. There's gonna be a lot of changes to that team. Last year they had the wondrous season and they were disappointing in the playoffs. This year they came back and had a good season and then got here, and this was a big series for them, and they came up embarrassingly poor. And when you come out in game 3 with the lack of purpose that they did, and then come out tonight after the coach stresses to you what has to change, and the Knicks get 13 points on runouts and 18 points in the paint in the first quarter. I mean, come on. You knew and there was a turnover in the end of the first quarter, and one Cavalier ran back. One. I said, "This is an NBA conference championship game. That's all you need to see. You don't need to see anything else. You could turn anything off right there. When you see one guy run back in a deep playoff game, they were embarrassing. Don't take anything away from the Knicks, but Cleveland was embarrassingly bad. And that's why if you're a Knicks fan, you don't wanna get crazy right now and say, "Nobody can beat us," but I haven't heard any of that talk. And I haven't heard any, overconfident statements from the Knicks or silly statements from anybody around the team or even the fans. I think they've handled everything exceedingly well, considering how much success they've had here and what they've enjoyed over the last 3 weeks or so. And now you get to revel in it and think about how you can somehow find a way into the building because it's gonna be such an expensive ticket, it's insane. Okay, well, hey, sporting events have become incredibly expensive in terms of face value. Okay, a Super Bowl ticket that used to be 500 is now 5,000 face value. So you know what that does to the markup. And these tickets are all on the secondary market. You can't get tickets on the first part unless you're a season ticket holder or you know somebody who has tickets. The bottom line is, hey, you don't need to be in the building. I mean, I know you'd love to be in the building. And there's nothing like being in that kind of building once, and I wish every one of the fans could have that one day where they're in the building and the lights are going down and they're doing the opening lineups and just feel the intensity in the building and how special it feels at that moment. I wish that for every one of you, but it's not gonna be economically feasible, nor is it feasible in terms of the size of the building. It's a very limited ticket. It's a very expensive ticket, it's a very limited ticket, and it's gonna be a very hard ticket. We know that. That goes without saying. But watching games on TV now is so good that it's not a problem. Um, what the Knicks have done has been mind-bogglingly good. The Bridges turnaround has been even though tonight he finally didn't shoot the ball well, the turnaround has been I'm glad to see it because I've always been a Bridges guy, and I was very, very sad to see him finish the season the way he did this year. But give the head coach credit for how he dealt with it and how he brought him back into the fold rather than cast him adrift as so many people wanted to see happen. That was a huge factor. That and the subtle changes they made through the offense with Towns and the defensive intensity that has ratcheted up enormously. Hey, they are gonna play a really good they're either gonna play a legitimate multi-championship level team that has is going to present real matchup problems for the Knicks in OKC, or they're gonna play a very young team that's gonna be in the finals before their time, but led by a generational player of incredible size and ability, who can dominate the game on both ends of the floor. There's no question about it when he's on the floor. So their work is going to be cut out for them. And as a matter of fact, I've already thought about this. Often, when one team polishes somebody off and then has too much time off, and the other team plays a brutal 7-game physical tough series that OKC and San Antonio are tangling in right now. Game 1 doesn't tell you everything, except this time, I think there's a very quick about face because if I'm coaching the winner out west, then game 1, considering how the Knicks have played over the last 10 games, to me, is an incredible statement game. Because I can't say, "Oh, I need a rest, and, I just won a tough series, and I'm not worried about game 1. I'll catch up to you in game 2." Oh, no. If there's one thing that team because that team's gonna have a healthy respect for the Knicks, if they don't, they're pretty stupid, and I'm gonna think that they're not very stupid. They're gonna have a very healthy respect for what the Knicks have done because when they look at it and they analyze it and break it down, they're gonna see that it's been highly impressive. And the last thing they want is to have the Knicks come in and show any part of that in the finals. They wanna put a stop to that from the get-go, from the get-go. And that's why to me, game number 1 of the finals, which is gonna have tremendous buildup because game 7, if it goes 7 games, and I think this series will, game 5 tomorrow night, OKC still has injuries. Game 7 would be Saturday night. The finals start in the West on Wednesday night, excuse me, Wednesday night the 3rd. To me, that game number 1 is gonna be one of the more meaningful game 1s in an NBA final that I can remember in a very long time. Because it would be exceedingly dangerous for the Western team to allow the Knicks to continue this unabridged, unopposed, and run through one game of this on their building would, to me, change the entire feel of the finals. So game 1 is going to be, for me, an incredibly highly anticipated game and memorable game, more so than I can remember in a long time in the finals. But for Knick fans, hey, there's nothing to analyze tonight. Just more of the same. Run out, get easy baskets, get open threes, make open threes, bring guys off the bench who make every three. McBride makes 2, Shamet makes 2, bring in anybody, they make 1, they make 1, they make 1, they make 1, Robinson gets 4 tip dunks. I mean, it was anything you want, anytime you want. That's how you get to 130 points. The other team's facing desperation, and you get 36 points in the first quarter. Game, set, match. Nothing to discuss. Nothing to analyze. 3 quarters of garbage time. That's what it was. At the half, 19, I had a couple of people saying, "Oh, I don't like how they finished first half." I'm like, "Stop. Stop. There's nothing to worry about here." That team was a dead carcass from after game 1 in this series, which they should have won. They've been a dead carcass ever since. Whatever life, whatever they had, whatever they were gonna breathe into this series died in game 1 when they blew a 22-point lead in the last 7 minutes and 50 seconds of the 4th quarter. And it's gonna rain on some of their players, it's gonna rain on their coach, that happens. That's what happens. So all I would say is, hey, you got plenty of time to enjoy this, plenty of time to revel in it. It hasn't happened since 1999. It's been a long time coming. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. And realize this. Before the playoffs start, I thought the Knicks had a legit I told you, I thought they had a very good chance to get to the finals. I did not think they had a good chance at all to win the finals. Now I think they have a chance. I wanna see what kind of shape the winner of that series is in when that series ends in terms of especially the shape OKC is if they win. But the Knicks won't be anybody's pushover the way they're playing. Not the way they've been playing now. They have found a way to play. And don't think that the competition level isn't going to increase dramatically and the pool's not going to get a whole lot deeper. It is. These teams are vastly superior to the teams the Knicks have been playing. Vastly. Do not underestimate that for 1 second. But do not underestimate what the Knicks have done over the last 10 games for 1 second either. You know, a minute on the Mets. I wasn't going to do baseball today. It's amazing that the Yankees can just throw their gloves out and beat Kansas City. I mean, they beat him today where they get a fluky broken bat hit by Goldsmith on a ball that, you know, the bat scares Witt, so the ball flops around in the infield and get a single. Chisholm gets a double, and then they wind up he makes a horrific 1-2 pitch to Volpe, and they get 2 runs. Kansas City always finds a way to lose to the Yankees. It's amazing. That's fine. The Mets now have to figure out what's wrong with their phenom pitcher, who clearly is not only struggling, he has clearly lost his ability to control his secondary pitches. He can't get them. I mean, he's throwing the wild pitch he threw was just absurd. I mean, he's throwing so they're sitting on the fastball because that's the only thing that's going to wind up in a strike zone for the most part. I mean, a couple of the curves found the strike zone, but very rare. Something is very much amiss. I'm not questioning his talent at all, but on the way to stardom, he has taken a big detour in the last couple of starts. Then on top of that, you put the lineup up and no Soto in it because he's got a flu. And I'm not saying he should be in the lineup. He might be very well sick. They said he had a fever. So I mean, I'm not disputing that for a second. But when you don't have Soto in that lineup, I mean, that lineup doesn't even look like a major league lineup. And if you look what they've done since last Wednesday, I mean, 2 runs is an explosion. They barely can get the ball out of the infield. And then they're down 7-0 today. I'm flipping around, I'm going back and forth, and I just happened to catch the Simeon homer. Nothing to do with the homer, but how ridiculous does it look? You're a team that's awful offensively. You are as anemic as any team can be in the major leagues. You're mired in another losing streak. You can't score. You're down 7-0. You hit a solo homer, and in the dugout, you wanna dress the guy up in a dumb hat and a vest? I mean, ho what's wrong with you? Do you have no pride? I mean, isn't there a point where we say, "Hey, we gotta get back to basics here. We gotta get back to business here. We can't be fooling around with this nonsense." I'm watching that and saying, if I'm on the other team, I'm laughing at them. You hit a solo homer and you're gonna celebrate by putting a hard hat on the guy and a vest and all. What are we doing here? I mean, it's embarrassing. Act like a baseball team. You can't play like a baseball team. You can't hit like a baseball team. You don't know what the heck you're doing. You got a kid coming up today, Morabito, who's got a runner on second base and 2 out, and he's bunting. Huh? I understand he's overmatched to play right now, but why is he in the lineup if that's the case? If he's bunting with a runner on second and 2 out, what is he doing bunting? I mean, I understand they have injuries, and they're gonna use the injuries, I guess, as an excuse because they got a ton of injuries, and now they got more. Taylor's hurt, Soto's sick, okay? Someone else will get hurt. Someone else will wind up on the list. Who knows when they're getting Lindor back? Who knows when they're getting Robert back? Polanco, oh, he's gonna start running soon. Oh, right, great. I mean, they have a $350 million payroll, and they have a AAA lineup, and I like Ewing. I like Ewing a lot. Benj, I like, but I don't like as much as I like Ewing. I like Ewing a lot. I think he's gonna be a good hitter. He hangs in against lefties. He knows the strike zone, and I think he's gonna start to he build when he gets a little bigger and a little bulkier, he's gonna start to hit the ball with some more authority, and he hits the ball on the screws. I think he's gonna be a good player. I told you the other day that my brother John and I were debating. He was like, he reminds him of Bobby Mercer, which Bobby was really good at using his body to pull the ball, especially Yankee Stadium. And Lenny Dykstra, who became, all right, maybe it wasn't all natural, but he became a home run hitter later in his career, but always had pop. He reminds me of Lenny Dykstra. He reminds my brother John of Bobby Mercer, but the same thing, little stature, but a little power, a guy who swings the bat with authority, with toughness, who hangs in there and knows how to get the head of the bat out. If he became Lenny Dykstra, if he became Bobby Mercer, God bless him. He's on his way to a really good career. I like him. But they got so many automatic outs in that lineup right now that and they are so unwatchable. And it's only May. It's only May. It's sad. It's sad. But at least you don't have to look like a laughing stock. Putting a hard hat on a guy when it's 7-1 and you finally get the ball out of the ballpark, which you haven't been able to do for days and days, and now it's 7-1, and now you're gonna celebrate and dress the guy up? I mean, come on. Look like clowns. Be a baseball team. If you're gonna lose, lose with dignity. Jeez. For Knicks fans and the Knicks, congratulations. Job well done. Next, the NBA Finals. How does that sound? The NBA Finals in this town. Long time coming. It's gonna be fun. We'll see you later.